What's going on, Trade Pros? This is Mark from TRADEPRO Academy, and in this weekend's video, we're going to look at a recent breakout example and how you can use order flow to qualify a solid breakout trade. We're going to roll the intro and get into it. All right, Trade Pros. So here we are on Sierra charts, and what you'll see in front of you is the S&P 500. On the top left-hand side, we've got the 10-tick range bar chart. Bottom left-hand, we've got 5-tick. In the middle here, front and center, we have got the footprint chart. Beautiful order flow tool we love to use here at TRADEPRO. And on the right-hand side, this is the heat map, another great order flow tool we love to utilize here at TRADEPRO Academy. So what are we going to be discussing? Well, we are going to be discussing the characteristics of a great breakout trade, and we're going to be giving you an example here, showing you this in replay mode so that you can get a feel for what it looks like, almost as if you were watching it in real time. Now, before we get started with replay mode, let's just take a moment to discuss what makes for a strong breakout trade. So to do this, I'm going to bring out my handy pen tool. We're going to drag this chart on up, and let's explain what I like to look for. So the first thing I like to look for is a strong lead-in trend. So what does that mean? Well, if I'm looking to get long on a breakout, I want to see a nice strong trend of higher highs and higher lows. All right. And in the case of a short breakdown trade, what I want to see is lower lows and lower highs. Now, it's not always going to look textbook like this, but the general idea remains. You want to see lower lows, lower highs in the case of a short breakout trade, and you want to see higher highs, higher lows in the case of a long breakout trade. The next thing that I like to look for is a consolidation just below the level I'm looking to have a breakout from, or just above the level I'm looking to have a breakout from, depending on what we're looking at. So in the case of a bullish trend, all right, I like for there to be a prior top that we form a resistance on, all right, and that we kind of bounce off of a couple times before we make that breakout. The reason for that is because each time that you're buying, the market reaches up into that level, you're getting new sellers coming into the market trying to push it lower. But anybody that puts in a sell order, they're going to have a buy stop order to get out of that trade. And the more times that this bounces here and cannot continue to make a new low, the more the probabilities increase that the breakout will come to reach into that liquidity of their buy stops. All right, and so that's why we like to see a horizontal resistance form in the case of bullish breakout opportunities. And in the case of bearish breakout opportunities, we like to see a temporary support form, right, where the market bounces off several times, consistently, ideally, consistently making lower highs on each successive bounce. And that generally indicates that we're going to make a continuation of that trend. Now, this is the same idea, just the opposite as far as the orders. In this case, you're getting long traders entering at the support level, and they've got their sell stop orders just below the market. How does a long get out of a trade? They got to sell it. How does a short get out of a trade? They got to buy it. All right. And to get out of a trade, you're going to have a sell stop as a buyer. And to get out of a sell trade, you're going to have to use a buy stop. And so those are generally the two things that I like to look for when considering a breakout trade. And that's about as far as you'll get using traditional technical analysis. But this is where order flow comes into play, because once you introduce order flow, you can start adding some great qualifiers to really increase the probabilities of that trade working in your favor. So what would be some order flow qualifiers for a breakout trade? Well, number one, you've got imbalances. All right. So if you're looking to get short, for example, on a short breakout, you're going to want to see sell imbalances, and you're going to want to see sell imbalances showing up on the way down into the level that you're looking to get a trade from. All right. On the opposite side of that, as you're getting into the top of the market, all right, or rather the level that you're looking to take a breakout from, you're going to want to see that there was buy imbalances supporting that move, showing that buying demand was following that move higher. And so that's one of the order flow tools that we can use here, this footprint chart. Another thing that we can look for is offers, bids and offers from the heat map. All right. One of the things that we generally like to see is if we're looking for a breakout to the downside, for example, we like to see that there is some downside targets in the form of liquidity from the market. And these bids and the offers, they offer this type of liquidity to the market. All right, whether these bids down here trade or not, we don't know until the market gets down there. And that's kind of how the psychology behind it works, that markets move to and through liquidity. If I scroll this down a bit more, you'll see there was some down at that 25. All right, so to the downside, I'd like to see that there is bids that we can use as potential targets for the breakdown. And if we're looking for a breakout to the top of the range, you'd want to see the opposite. You would want to see some offers as potential targets to the upside. All right. And so that's another order flow tool that we like to use. One of the other things that we like to see as well outside of targets is we want to see activity from the buyers or the sellers, depending on where we are. Right. And so if we're trading towards the top of a resistance, you want to see bids coming in towards that level in order to, try to get that push to and through that structure. On the downside, you'd want to be seeing the same thing, except you'd be want to seeing it from the offers. All right, you want to see offers moving down, getting closer to price in an attempt to push it to and through that current support level. All right, and so that's basically what we like to look for. So on top of identifying a strong lead-in trend, identifying a level of temporary support or resistance and seeing bounces or consolidation there, you get to add order flow qualifiers such as imbalances, such as the heat map. And now we're going to throw on the replay mode so you guys can see what that looks like. I'll also be moderating in a sense as a replay plays so that you guys get an idea of what this looks like in real time. All right, so let's start the replay off and let's walk you guys through what we're seeing here. All right, so these initial bids that were here at the 32s, these guys have since removed themselves. All right, and so what you guys can see is that these bids at the 32s have removed themselves. Now I've paused the replay here temporarily so we can kind of go through a breakdown of what we're actually looking for here before we even consider these bids. So let me just erase that from the screen and let's start off with this longer term picture. All right, so what this market is doing right now is obviously making some lower lows and lower highs. All right, and so we can see that we've made some fresh lows and we've come into a level where we've created a temporary bottom here in the form of these 38.32s. Now you can see we've had 2 and 3 tests of that level and it's been holding. And so this checks off our list. All right, do we have a strong lead-in trend? Yes, we do. We've got strong bearish pressure. Number 2, do we have a temporary bottom? Yes, we do. We've got 38.32 here, which has had several tests of that support. All right, and it's holding temporarily, and it's a level that we can potentially consider for a trade. Now, what are we going to look for as far as order flow is concerned? Well, we're going to look for buyers to show up towards the lows here, all right, in the form of some buy imbalances and some green rotations. And if it gets back down here, and we start to see a sell imbalances forming just underneath this low. All right, so the low for the time being is 38.32 quarter. So if we get back below that level and we see some sell imbalances starting to form, that is going to be a pretty good when moment. In addition to that, we'll be looking to the heat map to show if offers are coming down and if these bids are canceling. So that's kind of where we stand right now. And let's see if the market gives us what we're looking for. Remember, the other thing that we also mentioned was we're looking for ideally in that range that we're holding lower highs off bounces. So we'll see if that also is the case. It's not absolutely necessary, but it certainly sweetens the pot when looking for these breakout trades. Let's get this thing back in play. So here's a level where we've seen selling happen before. All right, we've seen market came up into this level, we rotated off, and now sellers or rather buyers are testing it again. We'll see if the sellers are serious. If they are serious, we're gonna start rolling over and making our way back towards the bottom of this range. So sellers are coming in here. One of the things I'm noticing off the bat, not that much as far as selling imbalances. So, you know, if this thing were to just break out and not have any sell imbalances on the way down, wouldn't be as interesting to me. I'd personally like to see this at least come back down, give me some rotations, and then see if we get that breakdown. All right, I'm liking this trend though, however, on the way back down. You're seeing sellers held that 37 level. On the way down, we are seeing selling imbalances forming. So that's kind of adding to this idea. We still have some of these bids sitting down at these 30s, which is just down below. All right, and so if we get back below this level, these 32s, we should get moving. We just saw some offers flash here. They're not on the ladder anymore, but that's some sign of intent. All right, now we're seeing some of these bids trying to step up. We're seeing buy imbalances getting thrown off as well. Will this thing offer an opportunity? A lot of bids showing up, a lot of bids, and the market can't break through this time. So you're seeing now that we've got some buyers stepping in, which means that if there's a rotation up, there's some more buyers getting long in there. And so long as we maintain these structures of these lower highs, you know, in the most ideal scenario, we're just getting new longs that are going to be adding to the sell stop liquidity down below. So let's see where this thing takes us from here. All right, so seeing some of these bids starting to remove themselves. So market's kind of rotating here, still no entry, pulling away. Remember what we mentioned, these 37s, likely the level to hold. This is where we were seeing sellers present before. All right, so as we come down, what we want to see is these buy imbalances start getting erased. All right, bids are showing up. Now we're getting that press to the lower end of the range. You're seeing offers up top here. Let's see if these bids get removed. Sell imbalances, looks like we might be getting ready for that move here. As we're approaching, sellers still showing aggression here. Here's the opportunity. And we want to push this lower. There's the offers stepping down, right? And there's the trade. So that's what it looks like there for a breakout trade. You're seeing offers moving down, these bids canceling, and we traded right through those 30s. And looks like we're headed for those 25s now. But that right there is the anatomy of a great breakout trade. And we'll just walk through what we were just seeing there. All right, for that breakout trade. So what did we see there? Well, if we kind of review back through what was going on here, all right, we are seeing a lot of rotations. So we'll open this up on the footprint. All right, a lot of rotations off of these lows. All right, a lot of buyers getting in here, holding this level. You can see buyers got aggressive, tried pressing it up. They failed. All right, market rotated back down. The buyer stepped in again, pressing it higher. So more buyers getting in. However, the market comes back into that 37 level, rotates off of it, back towards the bottom end of the range. Again, as we get towards the bottom of the range here, you're noticing real lack of selling imbalances on the way down. All right, same time on this time around, lack of sell imbalances on the way down, rotates up, but it comes back to hold that level that the sellers were at. All right, and then this time on the way down, you're seeing sell imbalances showing up, whereas before they were not present on the rotations down. All right, and so that's telling you you've already got a strong lead-in trend. You've got a nice level that is holding temporary support, and on the way back down, you're noticing offers, bids down below as a target, and on the way back down into here again, same time, we had one more rotation out. On this way back down, again, more sell imbalances, And this time you can see a lot of sellers showing up just below that level. And that was the breakout moment there for a quick short. And that is exactly what it looks like there. Nice little run down, couple of points, and you know, that is a strong qualified breakout opportunity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys found value from it. If you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next. Until next time, guys, good luck and good trading. Take care.